Good afternoon. An investigation is underway after the clubhouse of the Etobicoke Yacht Club was gutted by a 3-alarm fire.
No injuries have been reported, and now the Ontario Fire Marshal's office is working to determine the cause. CTV's Janice Golding has been following the investigation and joins us live with more. Janice.
Hi, Nathan. Yes, officials say that no one was injured in the fire, but the massive fire did destroy the main building here at the Toronto Humber Yacht Club.
Oh, God. Oh.
Viewer video shows a fire consuming the clubhouse at the Toronto Humber Yacht Club this morning. Fire officials called to the scene along the banks of the Humber River in Etobicoke around 4:45 a.m. When they got here, they were confronted with a 3-alarm blaze. A fire so fierce, 27 fire trucks and 100 firefighters were required to get it under control. The 70-year-old club has been the center of controversy of late. City Council, in fact, voting last month to terminate the club's lease over concerns about land use, with neighbors alleging that use of motorcraft like jet skis on the waters threaten the river's natural habitat. At this point, the cause of the blaze is unknown, but the fire department and police will investigate. The fire itself very tricky to combat due to its location.
The crews worked incredibly hard. It's a long way from the main hydrants. We practiced for this, we trained for this. The crews implemented their training and managed to get water on the fire very quickly and knock the fire down very quickly.
How many trucks were needed to use in this link?
We used 8 trucks in the water relay itself, and we had aerial operations after about 30 minutes.
In a statement on Instagram today, the Yacht Club said it was deeply saddened by the devastating fire, adding that this was a heartbreaking setback. The Ontario Fire Marshal's office has been notified. Reporting live from Janice Golding, now back to Nathan.
Thank you, Janice. There was a rollover in North York late last night with 4 people in the vehicle. Emergency crews were called to Millvan and Millwick Drive just before 11. Police say the vehicle involved hit a curb and flipped over. There were 4 people inside at the time. All were able to make it out unharmed. The cause of the rollover is still being investigated. Well, a man is facing a number of gun-related charges in connection with Project Cluster.
Police say the investigation was focused on addressing the issue of privately manufactured firearms, sometimes known as ghost guns. CTV's John Musselman joins us live now from police headquarters with more. John.
Well, Michelle, they had a news conference this morning here at Toronto Police Headquarters. A 28-year-old man has been charged in connection with this case. We're just going to show you some video now. Some of these 3D printed guns were on display at police headquarters, and what police say is so concerning is that although they may not look like a traditional weapon, these are in fact dangerous guns that can cause serious damage and harm. They fire a normal bullet just like any normal firearm. And the distinctive thing here as well is that they don't have serial numbers, so they're very difficult to trace. The other issue here is Toronto police say they were alerted to this by the RCMP when they saw some suspicious activity on a firearms website. That led to this investigation in November of 2025. We had a chance to hear from police on this situation. Here's what they told us just a short time ago.
On December 9th, 2025, a 28-year-old Toronto man was arrested and charged with multiple offenses related to firearm manufacturing, trafficking, and unauthorized possession. These charges include a newer offense under Canadian law, possession of computer data for the purpose of manufacturing or trafficking firearms. That's significant. It reflects how policing and the law are adapting to an evolving threat.
During the investigation, it's alleged that the accused sold a 3D printed handgun receiver, the core component that legally defines a firearm, along with additional parts needed to complete it. On December 9th, 2025, the accused was arrested. On that same date, investigators executed criminal code search warrants at his residence and his associated vehicles. As a part of those searches, investigators seized completed firearms, including 3D printed handguns, as well as components capable of assembling 24 prohibited firearms.
Now, the investigation continues. It's not clear yet if any of these weapons were used in any serious criminal cases. What police will say is that these ghosted guns were tested, hundreds of rounds fired near Lawrence Avenue West in Caledonia by the accused, and the theory here being he was testing out the guns before selling them. Reporting live, I'm John Musselman. I'll send it back to you.
Thank you, John. A 47-year-old man from Whitchurch-Stouffville is facing human trafficking and child sexual abuse charges. Christopher Conlon is facing multiple charges, including trafficking a person under 18 and making child sexual abuse and exploitation material. He was arrested after police tracked a missing girl to Whitchurch-Stouffville. Police are concerned there may be more victims. They're asking anyone with information to come forward. And still to come on CTV News at noon, the Bank of Canada holds its key interest rate steady. This move coming after the federal government delivered its spring economic update yesterday. We'll have the latest on our country's economic landscape a little later in the newscast. But first, the Ford government says it's considering a complete ban on cell phones in schools, as well as restricting access to social media.
It comes as Manitoba is moving to implement similar measures. CTV's Queen's Park Bureau Chief Siobhan Morris has the details.
They're omnipresent, away from school, on the way to class, and inside, even with rules against them.
They're used far too much. The kids are staring at them constantly.
Students are very, very smart and very capable, but our ability to focus has gone down collectively.
That short attention span, violence, and bullying helped along by phones are on the education minister's radar.
Cell phone use in our schools, elementary and our secondary schools, anywhere on site, has become a problem, so we are considering an outright ban of cell phones on school properties.
Right now, Ontario kids up to grade 6 have to keep phones silent and out of sight during class. Older kids can use them in the classroom when a teacher allows it. The opposition leader likes the idea of keeping phones locked up, but isn't sure keeping them out of the building will work.
Having that cell phone is a connection for parents to keep an eye on their kids and where they're at. And a lot of children, particularly here in the GTA, travel long distances to get to school or have other responsibilities like siblings.
On the street, reactions are mixed.
Don't ban totally because it's a modern society. People need to connect with people.
I didn't grow up with a cell phone, so it's good to kind of focus on the learning, get people engaged in school and not distracted by phones and social media.
I think high schoolers should be able to do whatever they want. I think if you're teaching someone to go into the world, you have to teach them to have accountability for their own actions.
Over the weekend, Manitoba's premier announced plans to ban social media and AI chatbots for kids under 16.
And I think here in Ontario, we have to actually do something about that. But, you know, it comes from actually looking at the problem and trying to understand it.
Educators say that means lots of dialogue, including with students. Without it,
you're setting teachers and parents and students up for more conflict because the underlying causes are not being dealt with.
Ontario's education minister says he's watching what Manitoba's doing and that he's working with the federal government, which is considering nationwide restrictions for young people accessing social media. At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
A new poll suggests, despite having no leader, the Ontario Liberals would win if an election was held today.
We haven't seen that in our liaison tracking ever, right? You know, for the last decade, you know, the PCs have been leading in the polls. They were leading even before they were elected, of course. And so this is a new trend that we're seeing, that since October, the PCs have been losing 1 to 2 points every single month. And so now they've actually just dipped low enough that they're in second place. So it's a big surprise.
The poll conducted by Liaison Strategies found 35% of Liberal, or for the Liberals, who are currently led by interim leader John Fraser. Premier Doug Ford's Progressive Conservatives were second with 33% support. Meanwhile, 68% of respondents say they disapprove of the job the Premier is doing, while 27% approve. 65% of people say they think the province is heading in the wrong direction, compared to 31% who approve of Ontario's current direction. Well, to sports, the Raptors will be looking to take the lead in their first-round playoff series tonight when they square off with the Cleveland Cavaliers.
The team is going to have to win in enemy territory in the hopes of returning to Toronto with a chance to close out the series at home. CP24's Beatrice Vaisman joins us live now from Cleveland with more on Game 5 of this series. Beatrice, the Raps have momentum.
They do have momentum, but winning in enemy territory here in Cleveland specifically, Michelle and Nathan, is proving to be really hard for the Raptors in playoffs. In fact, they're on a 10-year streak, losing 9 playoff games in a row. They haven't won one here in Cleveland in the postseason since 2016, when, of course, the Cavs, led by LeBron James at the time, went on to win the NBA championship. Today, the Raptors hoping to capitalize on that momentum. We're standing just outside of the court area. This is the Court Club. It looks like a restaurant bar, maybe, where they serve up some, delicious food and drinks just before people head into the stadium to enjoy Game 5, Raps versus Cavs. And we talked to some of the players earlier, including Jacoby Walter, a rookie, who said, hey, this time last year, I was already at home. RJ Barrett from Mississauga. I asked him, where did you feel the momentum shift for the Raptors? He said it was in Game 2. Listen.
I think we felt better after Game 2, because especially in that second half in Game 2, we played a lot better, we played a lot harder, and we started to figure some things out. So I think after Game 2, it really gave us that confidence, and obviously having the fans at home, like, that was different. There's a different level of energy in there.
The Raps were playing on the court, doing some shoot-around and practice for about an hour. Certainly, RJ Barrett says when you've got Scotty Barnes on your team, it feels like you can do anything. He was here along with Brandon Ingram, who's been struggling a bit in this series when it comes to his shooting. He just hasn't been finding the bucket like we're used to seeing him do in the regular season. He did have an epic, though, shot that was a buzzer beater in Game 4, which kind of shifted the momentum and gave the Raptors the lead going into the second half. And then, of course, you've got guys like Shed, you've got Colin Murray-Boyles, guys that the fans are really enjoying and watching them contribute. And again, RJ Barrett from Mississauga. I mean, here's a guy who's just been having a wicked series, contributing in a big time, especially in the fourth quarter. I've been talking to some fans out here. Of course, it's Cavs territory. So Cavs fans, they all thought this was going to be a sweep. The Raps were supposed to be the underdogs. They've got a bit of a taste of reality, Cavs fans have. And I talked to one of them outside. I asked him, what do you think of the series? And have the Raptors impressed you? The answer was yes. Listen.
It's Cavs basketball, you know. We're going to have games where we got to show why we deserve to be in the playoffs, you know. So I like the pressure. You know, we're not backing down. Like James Harden said, today we're going to be turned on this game. So we're going to get the dub and get them up out of here. I say it's going to go 4-2. We let them get 2 wins, man. That's for they fans. That's for y'all Toronto fans, them 2 wins that y'all got. We about to take it home, though.
I don't know about that. It wasn't just for the fans. But here, this is the tunnel here at the Rocket Arena, the tunnel through which the Raptors will be coming out from their locker room, walking right here down to the courts. 7:30 is when the tip-off is. Raps versus Cavs. The arena quiet now, but it'll just be packed with fans. And guess what? Raptors fans, they travel well, too. Game 1 saw a lot of them here in Cleveland, and hopefully we'll see many more cheering on the Raps here tonight. Back to you guys.
Beatrice Vaisman setting the stage for us live in Cleveland. Appreciate it. And as the Raps hope to get deeper into the postseason, the Tempo are set to play their first official game when they begin the preseason.
They'll be taking on the Connecticut Sun in front of the home crowd at the Coca-Cola Coliseum. CTV's Jessica Smith joins us now with a preview of tonight's game, and some history is going to be made tonight, Jess.
Absolutely, and today is the day after nearly 2 years of waiting. The Toronto Tempo, the city and the country's first WNBA team, will hit the hard court for the first time tonight in preseason action. And as you mentioned, history is going to be made. Again, this is the first professional team here in the country, and they're making their preseason home debut here at Coca-Cola Coliseum. Speaking to coaches, the general manager, and the players throughout the last 2 weeks, the sentiment is the same. They are excited and they are ready. After a lengthy round of negotiations with the league landing on an historic collective bargaining agreement, an expansion draft, the rookie draft, and a jam-packed training camp, head coach Sandy Brondello has remained steadfast about how she wants to build this team. She's a hands-on coach, and in the mix at every practice, communication between her coaching staff, and the players is key for the building blocks of success. Now, the Tempo is the first team in the league to have both a head coach and a GM that were both former players. Hamilton's very own Kia Nurse and veteran Marina Mabry say a solid foundation is the key to growing this franchise.
We're building
the blocks for our foundation culturally, on the court and off the court. And so every single day it's about the process and the journey of doing that because we're brand new. And so focusing on that process is grace, but it's also expecting excellence every single day. And so being able to find the balance between that has been something that I've definitely taken away from this.
I think it's important to stay in the moment. There's so much hype around it, which is great, and we're really excited about that, but it's kind of easy to get caught up into because it's really hard work to become a really good team in this league. So I think kind of what we said earlier about the culture, setting a really good culture and foundation of a site that people want to come to. People want to come play in Toronto, and that's kind of what you want to set. And also being competitive, showing that we're going to be a great team through our culture and our teamwork, and I think the rest kind of takes care of itself.
I've already seen some fans walking by asking about tickets. Coach Sandy Brondella walked by earlier in good spirits. Doors open tonight here at Coca-Cola Coliseum at 5 p.m. Tip-off is at 7 p.m. against the Connecticut Sun, and it is going to be an exciting night. Reporting live, I'm Jessica Smith. I'll send things back inside to the studio.
All right, can't wait. Thank you, Jess. We turn now from the tempo to the temperature. Here's a live look at the city this afternoon. It is wet in some areas, a mixture of sun and clouds. Double digits, but not as mild as you would hope this time of year, or at least expect. Let's bring in Lindsay Morrison with a look at the current conditions. Hey, Lindsay.
Hey, Nathan. Yeah, it certainly is a little bit cooler out there today compared to the last couple of days, even though we technically already have reached our daytime high today, which was in the double digits. But yes, we've got wet weather. I'll zoom a little closer in here so you can see starting to dry out for the west end of the GTA, but the rain has been heavy recently in and around Niagara, and then Toronto, York, and Durham region still dealing with showers, and even those that are a little drier right now, not completely in the clear just yet. Part of the reason for the cool down today, northerly winds. They're not overly strong, but that direction matters. We're at 10 degrees right now at Pearson Airport, 7 degrees in Barrie, only 6 in areas like Owen Sound and Perry Sound. This is your afternoon at a glance. And I do want to mention, for anyone heading out to see the Tempo or spending the evening at Jurassic Park, you might need a poncho and you might need a couple of layers with the temperature cooling. Coming up, we're going to talk about the risk of frost. But for now, Nathan, back to you.
All right, thank you, Lindsay. The families of mass shooting victims in Tumbler Ridge, British Columbia, are suing OpenAI and its CEO, Sam Altman. Lawsuits launched in U.S. federal court in San Francisco allege the tech company identified the shooter as a credible threat 8 months before the attack, but didn't warn police. The lawsuit also accuses OpenAI of not alerting police because it would have exposed the volume of violence-related conversations on ChatGPT, potentially jeopardizing the company's path to a nearly $1 trillion initial public offering. 9 people, including several children, were killed in the shooting in Tumbler Ridge in February. AI Minister Evan Solomon spoke about the steps the federal government is taking.
We are pursuing from our end to make sure that citizens are protected. This is why the AI Safety Institute is currently, as I said, working with OpenAI to assess their safety protocols. And as I said, all options are on the table.
An OpenAI spokesperson called the shooting a tragedy, and last week Sam Altman apologized to the impacted families.
The Bank of Canada has held its key interest rate steady at 2.25%. The central bank expects the country's economy to grow at a moderate pace as it continues to adjust to U.S. tariffs. It also warns inflation has increased due to higher oil prices linked to the war in the Middle East. However, the bank is projecting it will ease back to the 2% target in 2027. CTV's Scott Hurst has been following the interest decision. He joins us live now with more. And Scott, this isn't really a surprise.
Michelle, good afternoon. There's so much focus, of course, on this central bank announcement because affordability remains top of mind, affordability concerns, and really the cost of living is a huge concern. And that came into greater focus with the war in Iran impacting so much on the prices that we pay and impacting the global economy. And that is one of the headwinds of concern that the central bank is watching in the future. So you laid it out. The central bank is holding its current rate at 2.25%, a fourth consecutive time today, as it awaits really more clarity on the war in Iran and the future of the Canada-U.S. trading relationship and the future of U.S. tariffs. So uncertainty remains high, although we did last week get an early look at the impact of the oil price shock related to the war in Iran, with Stats Canada reporting inflation jumping to 2.4% in that month, up from 1.8% in February, driven by high gas prices. And really, the surge in gas prices, according to Bank of Canada Governor Tiff Macklin, combined with the still elevated food inflation prices, squeezing more and more Canadians. Here's more from the Bank of Canada Governor.
Canada is being buffeted by global events and geopolitical uncertainties, but our economy is growing, and we expect it to continue to grow. Second, after more than a year with inflation close to the 2% target, higher global energy prices are pushing inflation up. The surge in gasoline prices, combined with still elevated food price inflation, is squeezing more Canadians.
So with the increase in inflation that we saw in March, the expectation is another big number coming in April, somewhere expected around 3%, Michelle. But then the expectation is inflation would fall back to the 2% target some point early next year. But that is all based on the assumption and based on the projection that tariffs with the U.S. remain the same and that oil prices, in fact, come down. And so that is what that projection is based on. So really still a whole lot of volatility and uncertainty.
That is for sure. CTV Scott Hurst, live for us in the National Newsroom. Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle.
We're turning to the mayor and the Minister of Public Safety making an announcement about federal funding support ahead of the FIFA World Cup. It's beginning now. Let's listen in.
For Ontario, as well as Mayor Olivia Chow, along with Sharon Bollenbach, Executive Director of FIFA World Cup Toronto Secretariat, along with Deputy Mayor Asma Malik, and also the councillor for this area, as well as Acting Deputy Chief Brett Nicol from the Toronto Police Service, as well as Superintendent Dave Eklund, FIFA Integrated Safety and Security Unit of the Toronto Police Service, as well as Inspector Barry O'Neill from the FIFA Integrated Safety Security Unit of TPS. It is great to be here at BMO Field, which in a few weeks will be the center of one of the world's truly great sporting events. For the first time in our history, Canada will welcome visitors from all over the world for the FIFA World Cup 2026. As a Minister of Public Safety, my responsibility is the safety and security of all Canadians. Hosting an event of this scale, with 48 national soccer teams and millions of fans from around the world, requires a massive, coordinated security effort. It requires close coordination across all levels of government, law enforcement partners, event organizers, and with our international partners and fellow host countries, including the United States and Mexico. Aujourd'hui, je suis fier d'annoncer que notre gouvernement est déterminé à veiller à ce que ces tournées se déroulent en toute sécurité et soient couronnées de success. To that end, we're investing up to $145 million in federal funding for security operations relating to hosting the FIFA World Cup 2026 here in Toronto and in Vancouver. This funding will support provinces and municipalities in their efforts to ensure people remain safe while enjoying the tournament and ensure law enforcement agencies have the resources they need to deliver a safe and well-managed event. This is in addition to the $220 million that the federal government gave to the host cities, in addition to another $100 million given to support federal partners in this regard. This is also in addition to the RCMP resources that will be deployed here in Toronto. Whether you're at a match or enjoying the FIFA Fan Festival, I know many of you are looking forward to that, fans will be able to rest assured that you are protected. For Canada, hosting the World Cup is not just about 90 minutes on a pitch. This is about a legacy that will last long after the final whistle and the crowds have gone home. The FIFA World Cup is expected to generate over $2 billion in revenue to Canada's economy. By investing in security for this special event, we will ensure the safety of all soccer fans that have traveled the world and spent their hard-earned money to come here to support their country. Ces investissements témoignent de notre engagement à assurer la sécurité publique, à soutenir nos partenaires sur le terrain et à veiller à ce que les Canadiens et les Canadiennes et les visiteurs puissent profiter de ces événements en toute sécurité et en toute confiance. Canada is a sporting nation, and sports brings together the country. That's why our spring economic update, released yesterday, which the government proposes $755 million over the next 5 years, plus $118 million ongoing to further strengthen sports in Canada. To the millions of fans who plan on visiting from around the globe, Canada is ready to host the world-class event that celebrates the beautiful game of soccer. You will find your home crowd right here, no matter where you're from. To those in Toronto and Vancouver, and to all Canadians, let's get ready to write a new chapter in our country's history. Let's rally as one nation, proudly wearing the red and white, and show the world the heart, unity, and passion that drive Team Canada forward on the world's pitch. Thank you. And with that, let me welcome my friend, Michael Kerzner, who's the Solicitor General for Ontario. As many of you are aware, Minister Kerzner has been an incredible partner. Ontario has been an incredible partner in the work that we do on public safety. And I'm grateful for his ongoing engagement and support, as well as the many issues in which we have been working on for the last year for me and a bit longer for Michael. But he is an incredible representative of Toronto and someone who we count on regularly for his support and input. So with that, Michael, welcome, and I'm really glad that you're able to make it, and we're looking forward to your comments.
Thank you. Thanks, Minister. Let me begin by remembering Sergeant Brandon Malcolm of the OPP Northumberland Detachment. We lost Brandon a couple days ago, and our thoughts are with his detachment, his family, and the entire OPPA and OPP family. I'm delighted to be here and just reaffirm the comments that the Public Safety Minister said. We work very closely with Public Safety Canada on many files, and I'm delighted that we're here especially today, because I'm here to talk about police integration, especially during FIFA, to keep everyone safe. Having FIFA in our own city of Toronto, in the province of Ontario, and in our country has really allowed all of us to measure up to our limitless potential. FIFA World Cup 2026 is an incredible opportunity to welcome the world right here to Toronto. And public safety has always been my top priority. It's been a top priority of our Premier, our government led by Premier Ford. And it has to do with strong planning and coordination, which we know is essential. All levels of government, the federal government, the provincial government, and our municipal government are working together to keep people safe. We are working together, and this is very important. And I want to thank my friend, the Minister, as Ontario welcomes a federal investment, because it strengthens Canada's ability to make sure that these games are safe and that Ontario is safe. We have always had the backs of everyone that keeps us safe, and this is not new. This is something that I have said on the very first day I became minister in June of 2022. And I especially want to shout out our Toronto Police Service, led by my friend, Chief Myron Demkew. I want to thank the leadership that's here today. I want to say to the world that Toronto Police Service is a flagship police service. It is a leader in public safety.
And I want to thank Mayor Chow and Council and the Deputy Mayor for believing in this police service, because it's very important. Ontario's proactive, unrelenting approach to public safety helps make events like this happen. And the province, as I said, will work with our stakeholders, our RCMP, our OPP, Toronto Police, and operationally, Toronto Police may call upon neighboring police services to assist as well. And I've got full confidence, Mayor and Minister, that Toronto Police will do an incredible job. Under Premier Ford's leadership, the Government of Ontario will always be innovative, and we will be unrelenting and unapologetic when it comes to our public safety. I can't thank Minister Anandan Sangri enough for inviting me to join him and the Mayor today. This is a great moment for Toronto. This is a great moment for FIFA. And together, we're going to have just a phenomenal experience right here in our own country. And with that, please let me call upon our Mayor, Mayor Olivia Chow.
Thank you. Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Minister of Public Safety for Canada, Gary Anandasangri, thank you for inviting myself and Minister Michael Kirchner, Solicitor General of Ontario, to join with you today. We also have Deputy Mayor Osman Malik, who represents this area, and Sharon Bellenbob, Executive Director of the FIFA World Cup 2026 Toronto Secretariat. We're here this afternoon at Toronto Stadium, the center of action just in 40 days or thereabouts. The countdown starts soon. In just a few weeks, this is where the world will be watching. The World Cup is one of the largest international events Toronto has ever hosted. Minister Anandasangri, I want to thank you especially for yesterday's Government of Canada announcement of $45 million right here to Ontario. And this is a direct investment in the safety of everyone who will be participating and watching the games this summer. Our visitors, our fans, and of course, our local residents. From not just Toronto, but GTA all across Canada. It will support the planning, the coordination, and the readiness needed to keep people safe throughout the tournament, and we are very grateful. This tournament will not just be happening inside the stadium, it will be happening over at FanFest, where 20,000 people, fans, each day will come to the FanFest. It will be happening every day across the city, people coming together to celebrate and connect in neighborhoods every corner of the city, and it will reflect the diversity of the tournament itself. Today is about building that celebration on a strong foundation of city services to keep people safe and moving. This is not just at one location, but as they are traveling from one place to another throughout the entire tournament. Toronto has already committed significant resources to make this happen. Our budget include...
All right, listening to Mayor Olivia Chow. Prior to that, the Minister of Public Safety and also the Solicitor General announcing federal funding for the FIFA World Cup, $144 million on top of the $200 million already earmarked for the host cities, $100 million for partners, and also $45 million for, this is included, for Toronto for safety and readiness. That should cover the funding gap, but we're going to have to confirm that just to be sure. This news conference is happening at BMO Field. The World Cup is starting in about 6 weeks. We are very close. And again, we are going to keep on following what the mayor has to say, and we'll give you an update, if not later on the show at 5 and 6 tonight. Lindsay.
Well, one of the big weather stories we're going to be following over the next couple of days is the overnight lows in the forecast. Take a look at tonight. Some communities near the freezing mark or at freezing. Waterloo, for example, we're forecasting a low of +3 in Toronto. That is technically cool enough for us to get some frost tonight. The risk is usually around here late April and through mid-May. A reminder that if you do get some frost on your lawn, it's best to avoid mowing it. And of course, you want to take precautions to cover up any tender plants and perhaps hold off planting those annuals for at least a little bit. Stay with us. A full look at your weather forecast is after the break.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Happy Wednesday. Could be warmer, could be drier, but hey, we're getting used to this.
Yeah, it could be a lot of things, but it's okay overall. I mean, it's decent.
Yeah, a few more showers expected through the afternoon. The rain not as heavy as it was yesterday. It's not as warm as it was yesterday either. But yeah, it's okay as we make our way through the next couple of days here. One of the big stories is going to be the cool down that's expected at night. And heading into the weekend, yes, it is going to be a chilly start to the month of May, but we do have some sunshine to look forward to. Weather is brought to you by the Presler Law Firm Injury Lawyers. You don't pay unless they win. Now, one big story, of course, that's been we've been following for weeks now is the flooding across parts of Ontario, including Muskoka. Happy to share that water levels have gone down in many areas. This specifically is around the Bracebridge area. But of course, on a rainy day like this, it's something to keep an eye on. The rain not too heavy in that part of the province either. It has been a little steadier around Niagara just recently. I'm going to widen out this satellite and radar so you can see that there is still more precip to come. However, the bulk of the heavier stuff is stateside for today. But yes, plan on continued showers through this afternoon. They're slowly going to taper off as we make our way to through the evening hours. So for example, if you're heading to the Tempo game or to Jurassic Park, it may be a little unsettled for the start of the game, but by the time you're heading home, it should be dry out there. Over the next 2 days here, we're looking at roughly 5 millimeters of rain in Toronto, a little more around Kingston and Ottawa, upwards of 30 millimeters of rain. As you can see, the rain is going to be a little steady there into the evening hours, but we are going to dry out. Midday tomorrow, or let's talk about overnight first, some clearing. This adds to our risk of frost. If we can get clear skies, calm winds, and cool temperatures, all the ingredients are there. Into tomorrow, mix of sun and cloud, and heading into your Thursday evening, there is a chance of a shower. Friday is similar, couple of blues on there too, so maybe some wet flurries in places, scattered wet weather, not looking at a whole lot in the way of measurable rainfall. It is 10 degrees right now at Pearson Airport. That's our evening temperature that we're expecting too. But again, many communities are going to be close to freezing through the overnight hours tonight. And then tomorrow, 10 degrees is about as warm as it's going to get. The next few days here are cooler than normal. Our average temperature this time of year is now about 15, 16 degrees. So we are well below that as we head into the weekend. Back to seasonal, though, for Sunday after a single-digit day on Saturday. But at least we're forecasting sunshine for the weekend. Looks like we'll return to a few showers for the early part of next week. That's your look at the weather for now. Nathan, over to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Well, coming off a win last night, the Blue Jays play the rubber match against the Boston Red Sox this afternoon.
He got some pretty loud ovations in October, so I'm not sure this is going to rival that, but he's about to get a pretty good one right here, and with good reason.
Trey Savage made his season debut last night. The rookie pitcher tossed 5 1/3 scoreless innings as the Jays beat the Red Sox 3-0. First pitch for the series finale against Boston is set for just after 3 at Rogers Center. Lefty Eric Lauer gets the start.
Next to Ernie Clement, he's the latest Blue Jays player to be highlighted in our hometown team series.
The infielder became a fan favorite for his record-setting performance during last year's World Series run. CTV Sean Leathong spoke with him about why he loves Toronto.
Set a new postseason record.
I always loved baseball. That was my first love, always.
My mom, Julie, and my dad, Peter, just two of the best human beings I've ever met in my life. I'm so lucky to have them. They've taught me so many lessons along the way and just encouraged me, and they're just the best.
I love everybody back home, and the support just means the world to me.
You know, I'm lucky I had to play other sports because baseball, you know, you can't play all year round up in Rochester with the weather.
Ernie Clement slides it home.
Hockey was something that I did in the winters because, you know, you can't play baseball in the winter, and I love the game. You know, I still play and watch. I love the game of golf. That's something that I think a lot of people know now. I've picked that up in the last few years. Ever since, you know, COVID, there was no baseball. So I had to find something to do, and I love being outside on the golf course. We go over to Earl's a good bit. If we get an off day or an early game and want to go grab dinner, we'll go there, or Barbarian Steakhouse. Just a lot of good spots. You can't really go wrong.
Favorite moment as a Blue Jay?
Probably George Springer's homer in ALCS Game 7.
Why do you love Toronto?
I feel like I relate to a lot of the people here. The hockey thing is one thing, but I care so deeply about this team and everybody on it, and I feel like, you know, a lot of the fans who are here in Toronto feel the same way about these guys. If I wasn't playing on this team, I'd still be a huge fan of the Blue Jays.
Still to come, Canada has become the first G7 country to approve a generic version of brand name Ozempic. We'll have those details when we come back. Health Canada has approved the first generic version of brand name Ozempic, making it the first G7 country to do so. The injectable medication is manufactured in India and has been approved for the weekly treatment of type 2 diabetes in adults. The drug is often prescribed off-label to help with weight loss. The generic version is expected to be cheaper than Ozempic, which can cost hundreds of dollars a month.
Still to come, new data shows complaints about phone, internet, and television services surged in the past year. We'll have more on the numbers when we return.
Get Toronto's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
CN Rail says it's seeing some near-term benefits from the economic turbulence caused by the Iran war. Executives say higher demand for energy, potash, and other commodities has worked to the railway's advantage, even as higher fuel prices ate into profits. Those profits stood at $1.15 billion in the first quarter, only slightly lower than the same period last year. Chief Commercial Officer Janet Drysdale says CN is remaining cautious as it remains difficult to predict the broader economic impacts or how long price pressures linked to the Middle East war could last.
New data shows complaints about phone, internet, and television services surged in the past year. The Commission for Complaints for Telecom Television Services, or CCTS, says it received more than 19,000 complaints between last August and January. That is an increase of 61% compared to the previous year. 56% of all complaints were related to wireless services, while internet issues accounted for just over 28%. Rogers had the highest proportion of all complaints, followed by TELUS and then Bell. CTV News is a division of Bell Media. Coming up, enjoying a special pancake breakfast. We'll have more on a local school that made their own maple syrup when we come back.
Students at a Toronto elementary school enjoyed a special pancake breakfast featuring maple syrup they made themselves.
I'll give you a little
Staff and parent volunteers served up the flapjacks at Anson Park Public School in Scarborough, with students getting a taste of the syrup they started working on almost 2 months ago. The process involved tapping the 10 maple trees on the school's grounds to collect the sap. Parents helped collect, freeze, and store the sap when class was out, and students learned how to process it into the maple syrup they're enjoying today.
Exciting, and it means you can make stuff, you can do stuff.
I think they were excited about the tree giving back and us giving to the tree, and they were involved in taking the sap up to the staff room, collecting it every day, and of course tasting it in the end.
It feels so nice and awesome. I love the taste of the maple syrup and the pancakes the school made.
Teachers say the process also covers several aspects of the curriculum in a different way, using the resources available at the school. Learning is fun and filling.
Oh, that's
Doesn't that
the
look
best
great?
learning opportunity, and to get to eat maple syrup and pancakes. Oh, don't you remember at school? They're always the best pancakes.
Incredible. I agree. Maple syrup tastes nice. Wouldn't you agree too?
Yeah.
Nice today. The weather, maybe, depending on your perspective. We are still dealing with a little bit of wet weather in places, although we are starting to see the showers taper off. One more look at the satellite and radar for now. We have seen some clearing from west to east, but again, this is a big low pressure system, so we're not completely done with the scattered showers. They will likely return through the afternoon and early evening before fully tapering off into tonight. Waking up tomorrow morning, this is worth acknowledging again that our temperature is going to be chilly for this time of year, and as a result, there is a risk of frost, especially in more frost-prone areas, but also here in the GTA. Temperature rises, of course, as the morning goes on, and then eventually we hit a high of about 10 degrees tomorrow afternoon. That, too, is cooler than normal, and we're going to hold on to the chance of a scattered shower in the afternoon as well, but should be brighter over the next couple of days with a little more sunshine for Thursday, Friday, and the weekend. We're back to seasonal on Sunday. Nathan and Michelle.
All right. Thank you, Lindsay. And that's it for CTV News at noon. Remember, you can get Toronto's breaking news all day long on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Lindsay Morrison and all of us here, have a pleasant afternoon. I'm Michelle Dubé.
And I'm Nathan Dowder. Be sure to join us later for CTV News at 5 and 6.